We are the stars. We are the planets. We share a fundamental connection with all creation. We are individual manifestations of the subtle oneness. Since the beginning of time, man has turned to the sky for answers concerning that connection, knowing that the sky provides the clues to know our real self. Astrology studies the stars as an external reference to human nature. As above, so below. The basic instrument of astrology is the zodiac, a symbolic elliptical belt made up by 12 signs: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. The basic tool for our astrological understanding is our unique natal chart. Our natal chart is the mirror of our inner celestial space. It is the map of the sky with respect to the Earth at the moment of our birth. As in the solar system, the sun is the central element of our chart. The sign in which this celestial body is at the moment of our arrival to this life is our solar sign. And it is the reflection of the central energy of our being. Therefore, this work, Astro 12, the collection, is centered in the 12 solar signs and its relations with other esoteric traditions.
Your sign, your inner self. The solar sign symbolizes the basic traits of your psyche. It reflects your inner urges, your approach to life. It indicates the way you tend to express your talents. It reveals the way you are prone to handle your fears and limitations. Sagittarius's nature is shaped by its position on the zodiac wheel. It is also influenced by its inspiring element, fire, the presence of the astrological centaur, and by its special relationship with the planet Jupiter. The sign of Sagittarius transits from November 22nd to December 21st. It is the 9th sign of the zodiac. It is preceded by the last 6 signs of the lower and more personal part of the zodiac: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, and by the first 2 signs of the upper and more social part of it, Libra and Scorpio. Virgo, the last sign of the lower part, signals a completion of a stage of personal development. It represents the closure of the individualistic perspective developed through the first 5 signs. As a harvest sign, it is able to separate the chaff from the wheat scattered through the first 6 stages of the zodiac wheel. Virgo natives love to spend this ability in places where they can take care of people. Virgo is like a station where people can stop to take a breath and prepare their bags to travel assertively through the more complex world symbolized by the 6 signs placed in the upper part of the zodiac. Arriving at the upper half of the zodiac, we find Libra. This "we are" sign represents the development of the perception of the other and the joy of being in social company. Next, there is Scorpio, the mysterious "I desire" sign that prods people to explore their inner depths to find security and power. And so it is now the turn of Sagittarius, the "I believe" sign, to come on stage. It is the opposite sign to the more mundane sign, Gemini. Sagittarius looks towards the heavens with the conviction that all that is visible or perceptible must be linked by a connective thread. Sagittarians strive to integrate within a larger framework all the experience and knowledge gathered through the previous signs. The element of nature that corresponds to Sagittarius is fire, combustive, reactive, and dynamic. Individuals born under the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, are spontaneous and full of vitality. They rely upon their inspiration and their enthusiasm to get what they want. They are direct and audacious. No matter what, they see life optimistically. They burn up problems with their flames and continue obstinately on their way. They exude self-assurance, but also tend to demonstrate little sensitivity towards others. Like people born in the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, they express themselves without reservation. However, unlike those of the air signs who think, fire sign people act. Born in the last of the fire signs of the zodiac, Sagittarian people are less self-centered than their peers of the other fire signs. They are very independent and are the most optimistic individuals of the zodiac. The symbol for Sagittarius is the centaur, half archer and half horse, like Chiron, the wise centaur. Its glyph evokes the tendency of the archer to always point his arrow upward, while the more instinctive attitude of the horse focuses on where he plants his hoof. The archer types have a broad perspective on life and are in constant pursuit of an ideal. Sagittarian horses, on the other hand, allow the more animal side of their nature to dominate. They use their charm, experience, and skills to achieve success in the material world. Due to the position of this sign on the zodiac wheel, the typical Sagittarian tends to be more closely identified with the archer than with the horse. The psychic energy of Sagittarius people is masculine and active, yang in Oriental traditions. While we all possess both masculine and feminine energies, astrology reveals the predominance of one of them in each sign. Contrary to the usual one-way communication of extroverted people of other masculine signs, Sagittarians maintain an enriching two-way dialogue with the exterior world. They seek and find answers to their questions beyond their personal reference. They process and amplify their acquired information and transmit it to the outside world. They know that when we give and share, we will in turn receive again. Sagittarians may appear to be the intellectuals of the zodiac, but they are not. They are only interested in knowledge as a tool to spark their own imaginations and keen intuitions. These traits, reflected by Sagittarius, can in part be explained by this sign's intimate relationship with its ruler planet, Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of joy, expansion, and grace. When the planets were first assigned positive and negative forces, Jupiter was recognized as the great benefactor of the zodiac. While the designation of confluences of some planets may have changed from the past, Jupiter, to this day, continues to symbolize the most expansive and beneficial of the astral energies. Jupiter reflects the Sagittarian's faith in the generosity of the universe. It projects Sagittarian open-mindedness, idealism, love of life, and the spirit of adventure. It illuminates their sense of justice and their ability to identify and take advantage of good opportunities. On the spiritual plane, Jupiter encourages us to believe in the existence of a universal truth that transcends the illusions of our perceived reality. Sagittarius in action. The inner nature of the sign is perceived through the external manifestations of human form and action. Physically, intellectually, and emotionally, each of us bears the signature of our individual celestial disposition. How we look and how we behave at different stages and in different circumstances in our lives is what characterizes us as born in a particular sign.
The Sagittarius body. Astrology finds in the parts of the body connections to the metaphysical world of the zodiac. Each sign has a physical correspondence. Those links follow a descent from the head in the first sign, Aries, to the feet in the 12th sign, Pisces. These connections are the pillars of medical astrology. Sagittarius, as the 9th sign, is associated with the hips, the thighs, the liver, and the gallbladder. Jupiter, Sagittarius's ruling planet, relates to physical purification, growth, clarity, and rapid recoveries that keep Sagittarians mentally and physically fit. These physical correspondences reflect how healthy and energetic Sagittarians tend to be. Like strong centaurs, they rarely get sick. If they should fall ill and have no choice but to stay in bed, they will take advantage of the situation by catching up on their reading or doing some research. Sagittarians are usually agile and quick. They have radiant eyes that reflect wisdom, are mischievous, and have a good sense of humor. They may have a tendency to gain weight as a result of Jupiter's expansiveness. Nothing is perfect. Sagittarians say that they love exercise, but that is not exactly true. There is always an agenda to their choice of sports activities, be it just to stay in shape, travel to events and competitions, or socialize with their exercise buddies. They do not seem to have a preference for any one sport. However, it would seem logical that they would stand out as horsemen, archers, or long-distance runners.
The Sagittarius child. These little centaurs are intelligent, happy, playful, dreamy, and curious. They never tire of asking questions. They can be interested in many different things at the same time. They adore animals and will pet any stray that crosses their path. Young Sagittarians are very sociable. They like to go to school, join clubs and teams, and play in parks. They need to be surrounded by friends who share their interests. They are dreamers and enjoy reading or watching adventure films about explorers and pirates. They are as keen on traveling as are the adults of this sign. They listen with fascination to the stories and anecdotes of those who have visited foreign countries. They have a capacity for premonitions that exceeds that of other children. They are very impulsive and have little sense of danger. Therefore, it is prudent to keep an eye on them to guard against accidents. They are very independent and tend to be rebellious. But it is important for them to be nurtured in an affectionate and harmonious environment. They are very sincere, and they say whatever is on their minds. They have a strong sense of justice. They have no problem obeying their elders as long as they believe that they are being fair. Nevertheless, as Sagittarians mature, they will begin to question authority. They will give free rein to their rebelliousness and begin the struggle for their autonomy. When they reach adolescence, they start to take the family for granted. From then on, Sagittarians will feel more at ease with their friends, disciples, and admirers than with their relatives.
The Sagittarius adult. Overall, People born under Sagittarius are independent and need a great deal of freedom. They are more subtle in revealing their natural-born spark than other fire people. They are enthusiastic, curious, provocative, and cheerful. The advanced position of Sagittarius on the zodiac wheel liberates them as they develop from the pressure of external stimuli. They have more faith in their own potential. Their optimism permits them to recover rapidly from disappointments that would devastate others. They are flexible and capable of letting go of the past and adapting to the present. They know how to enjoy life to its fullest and will persuade others to do the same. Sagittarians enjoy sharing their experiences and knowledge. They are communicative and honest, but they also tend to be tactless. Most of them will say exactly what is on their minds, without a second thought. Those Sagittarians closest to the Archer tend to be more spiritual in the fullest sense of the word. They have the ability to integrate their search for external knowledge with the inspiration that comes from their inner being. They are idealistic, philosophical, honest, just, and generous. They have a receptive mind, always looking upwards, and need their high moral and ethical standards to be recognized. Their strength comes from their freedom of spirit and their ability to sense when they must forego external matters for internal concerns. In doing so, they can cultivate the wisdom to respond appropriately to life's challenges. They appreciate the best in others and give great importance to listening and guiding people. Their sense of fulfillment would be a just cause to which they could devote themselves fully. Those Sagittarians with more of the horse nature use their charm, knowledge, and skills to manipulate others. They tend to be social climbers, even if they don't respect social conventions. They look for relationships that can be advantageous to them in daily life. In so doing, they hope for social advancement with a minimum of effort. Usually, people born under this sign are precocious and rebellious during the first period of their lives. Later on, obligations and responsibilities take them by surprise, forcing them to become more conventional or square. Some of them accept these experiences willingly, while others will break all ties, opting for a dramatically new lifestyle. For Sagittarians, their vulnerability lies in their fear that someone might discover their dark side. Even in the most evolved of them, their animal aspect has a presence. So when they feel insecure or threatened, they have two defenses. They can choose to retreat into the woods, as centaurs do. They can exaggerate their cheerfulness, hoping to distract anyone looking deeper into that which they do not want others to see. Sagittarians must understand that this duality should not worry them. It isn't a trait exclusive to them. All human beings, even the best of us, share an animal side. Coming to terms with this duality may lead them to understand their propensity for wanting to become some kind of a guru. Is it due to an aspiration nourished by an authentic, altruistic desire, or is it the manifestation of a notion of superiority born of their equine nature? Knowing the answer, they will be able to aim their arrows towards even higher horizons to benefit themselves and others. Moving to the opposite sign. Opposite signs are those signs which are positioned diametrically across from one another on the circular path of the zodiac. When Sagittarians feel insecure as to their vision of themselves, they tend to escape to their opposite sign, Gemini, the third sign of the zodiac. The curiosity and the communication skills of Gemini will reinforce their ability to explore different philosophical, scientific, religious, and metaphysical perspectives. This energy will assist them in maintaining an open mind, even if they have already chosen one system of knowledge. And so they morph from an inspiring, I believe persona to a colder, I think one. However, taking shelter in the house of the butterfly of the zodiac can be confusing for them. It can increase their insecurity when faced with the challenge of finding a satisfactory explanation for some of life's experiences. They may find themselves superficially picking at various esoteric and exoteric explanations without ever satisfying their thirst for knowledge. Fortunately, Sagittarius can easily leave the Gemini's influential zone. Their need to explain themselves and to deliberate on the significance of life is far more important to them than is the indiscriminate curiosity of Gemini.
The Sagittarius partner. Sagittarians display their idealism in love. They are romantic and see their relationship as an idyllic union. When they meet someone they like, they tend to perceive themselves and the other as enacting the roles of Romeo and Juliet. They charge headfirst into the attraction, using all of their charm and charisma to conquer the other. Their optimism and self-confidence makes them open and demonstrative in love, without worrying too much about whether it is returned or not. They are rejected. They take it lightly and recover rapidly from the disappointment. Love for a Sagittarian is not a matter of suffering. Since they are independent and free-spirited, they might even consider the bond of marriage to be overly restrictive. This does not mean they will not marry, but that they need to find a spouse who is also a friend. He or she must share their interests, respect their independence, and let them have the freedom they need. The companions of Sagittarius people must understand that their strongest commitment will be to themselves. Their independence is vital to them, and they will follow their path, refusing to be questioned about it. When they feel free, they are very generous and stimulating, and will share their curiosity and optimism with all whom they love. If you are interested in a Sagittarius, bear in mind that the magic of the relationship is that it is unconditional. Respect the Sagittarian freedom. Do not fall into routine behavior. Stay interested in the things that you both genuinely like and which brought you together in the first place. If you can do this, you will have an interesting and extraordinary partner. The Sagittarius male. Men of this sign find it hard to reconcile their romantic fantasies. The Sagittarian man is an adventurer, has a big heart, and a good sense of humor. He will always be charming and flirtatious, even well into his senior years. He would like to live his entire emotional life as a happy and irresponsible child. He loathes being reminded that at some point he should grow up. Besides, his idea of growing up is not at all related to what is commonly referred to as maturity. Rather, it is based on a more flexible understanding of the meaning of life. He usually looks for a partner who will let him be free, but at the same time will offer him stability. It is probable that he will have numerous amorous commitments throughout his life.
The Sagittarius female. The Sagittarius woman is honest, outspoken, and makes an excellent friend. She needs a lot of freedom and is as adventurous as the Sagittarian male. She is highly verbal since she always needs to state her cause. That cause will generally relate to some belief system compatible with her personal sense of justice. She likes being surrounded by friends, especially men. She likes to attract their attention, but takes offense at any suggestion that she is being flirtatious. To her way of thinking, she is just being a companion. While she needs to feel wanted and loved, she really is not inclined towards marriage and long-term relationships. Domesticity is not her thing. If she cannot be free in her relationship, she will mentally, emotionally, and even physically abandon her partner. Her independence may prevent her from remaining true to a marriage contract. It would not be out of character for her to have extramarital affairs and unconventional relationships.
The Sagittarius lover. Typically, Sagittarians are happy, open-minded, and playful in bed. They can have quite a varied sex life, but to enjoy sex fully, they require a truly pleasant relationship. Nevertheless, it is difficult for them to feel satisfied in a predominantly sexual relationship. It is a challenge for them to harmonize their basic animal instinct with their idealism pertaining to a union. They feel they can never reach this state exclusively through sex, no matter how exciting and intense the physical attraction. Even when there is a strong sense of commitment and satisfaction with their partners, they will still, at times, feel imprisoned, both psychologically and sexually. Needless to say, such feelings can pose problems for them and for their partners in the long term if they don't address them. The erogenous zones of Sagittarians are found in the hips and in the upper area of the thighs. Use your hands and your imagination to stimulate them, and then you will appreciate how the Sagittarian horse will enhance the Sagittarian archer's sexuality. Sagittarius at work. Sagittarians need to feel that their job represents a challenge. They find it difficult to put up with routine or repetitive activities. They are more interested in the purpose and the quality of their work than the salaries they earn. When they believe in something, they will fiercely defend it, regardless of the consequences. When Sagittarians occupy supervisory positions, they are kind, understanding, loyal, friendly, and optimistic. They are capable of solving problems and have a special gift for building the morale of their employees. They tend to give credit to those who deserve it. As employees, their enthusiasm stimulates their colleagues, and they never leave something half done. But they should be allowed to work in their own way and at their own pace. It is odd for a Sagittarian to plan for a long-term career or foresee remaining in a company for a long time. They are always hoping for a new adventure or for an important change in their lives. They have confidence in themselves and usually feel satisfied with what they do. The horse-type Sagittarians are inclined to be power seekers, but they have the ability to get ahead without appearing to overtly exert themselves. For all types of advancement, be it a promotion or starting their own company, they will always rely upon the backing of an influential person. Sagittarian archers are suited to careers related to the search for meaning, as do professors, theologians, or philosophers. They can also distinguish themselves in the foreign service, as long as they are not expected to be diplomatic. Their facility with language suits them well as correspondents, researchers, writers, publishers, or translators. Their love of travel draws them to be pilots, tourist guides, and managers of travel agencies. Sagittarian archers are suited to the same careers, but they engage in them in a more fanatical and dominating way. Their association with animals, especially horses, gives both types a natural advantage in all aspects of horse breeding, horse training, and horse racing businesses. Sagittarius at leisure. The ideal vacation for Sagittarians is one that allows them to discover other cultures and ways of life. If they can, they will dedicate their vacations and their retirement to traveling in foreign countries. If not, they will try to gather as much information as possible about those places that interest them most. They will also enjoy spending time in spiritual or philosophical centers, sharing ideas and concerns with other people who are moved by the same interest. If they have to stay at home, they will entertain themselves by writing articles or books on their experiences, poetry, or even science fiction. Many of them will occupy themselves exploring the experiences of renowned prophets and examining books and documentaries on the topic. They will indulge their love of nature and animals by spending time taking their pets for long walks. They love strolling through beautiful places, especially when they are horseback riding. Some of them will also use this time to learn more about how to employ herbs and other natural products for healing purposes.
Sagittarius and Jupiter in us all. We all experience, in one way or another, in different circumstances and at different times, the energies of Sagittarius and its ruler planet, Jupiter. In order to take advantage of their energies, it is important to know the position of this sign and of this planet in our natal chart. Our Sagittarian energy pulls us out of the deep recesses of the psyche and the mysterious world of the preceding sign, Scorpio. This sign leads us back into the open light of life experience. We all need to cultivate Sagittarius's optimism, individual viewpoint, and sound judgment. We all need the Sagittarius awareness and faith, but we must be cautious with its fanatical tendencies. Jupiter helps us to confront difficult experiences. This planetary energy inspires joy, optimism, and self-confidence. It widens our interests and supports us so we can explore the multiple planes of our existence. Jupiter acts as a kind of echo chamber, since it multiplies the effect of other planetary energies it meets. Its position in our natal chart indicates an area of possible expansion, as well as a way to development. It is said that Jupiter is in charge of ensuring that our soul has a comfortable journey on Earth. It is necessary to be open-minded and willing to experiment and take advantage of the benefits of this sign and its ruling planet. They can show us how to gather knowledge from the lessons of life with humility and without prejudice.
Sagittarius and the houses of the Zodiac. In the generic wheel of the Zodiac, each sign is related to one of 12 houses. In a numerical sequence, the first sign, Aries, finds itself in the first house, and the 12th sign, Pisces, is located in the 12th house. Thus, the house corresponding to Sagittarius is the 9th one. It is known as the House of Philosophy. In the interpretation of our natal chart, the sign of the 9th house and its planets reveal to us our notion of the meaning of life's experiences, the degree to which we need to expand our horizons and to focus on experiences, relationships, and circumstances from a wide perspective. What we have learned from the memories implanted from the difficult or painful experiences of the 8th house. Our ability to see the future from a well-rounded perspective. Our ideals, principles, and attitude towards life. the means and methods we use to acquire knowledge, our areas of growth and expansion, the importance that law, higher education, philosophy, and religion have on our lives, our capacity to combine abstract thought with intuition, travels to distant lands, the interaction with different cultures and beliefs that serve as the means for growth, how other people can influence us and our belief systems, philosophers, professors, spiritual leaders, foreigners, friends from other races and cultures. However, it should be noted that the emphasis put on any one of these matters in our natal chart or in an astrological reading at a determined moment in our lives depends on other astrological factors, on the interest of the consultant, and on the orientation of the astrologer. Sagittarius and esoteric traditions. Astrology is closely related to other ancient and esoteric traditions developed all over the world to better understand the mystery of life. Each of them searches for the meaning of personal existence within the universe. The knowledge and wisdom of all of these traditions comes from the same source. So while they may talk in different tongues, all speak in one voice. And so, through time, correspondences have been established between the solar signs and these traditional schools of thinking. Knowing some of these links gives us the opportunity to explore more deeply other holistic perspectives gleaned from these very rich and important cultures. Tarot. Tarot is an iconic representation of sacred and esoteric secrets through symbolic pictures. Its history is a matter of debate, but its origins have been said to go back to the most spiritually developed civilizations of the ancient world. The tarot has changed over the ages to such an extent that today it has more than 50,000 different presentations. But only a few of these retain the original symbolism. One of them is the Rider Tarot deck. The main cards of the tarot, called Major Arcana, enlighten the path of our personal growth. The major arcanum of the tarot, usually connected with the sign of Sagittarius, is card number 14, Temperance. This card represents the process of adaptation based on all physical or spiritual work. In the Emerald Tablet, the Great Master, Hermes Trismegistus, states, "As all things are and come from one, by the mediation of one, so all things are born from this unique thing by adaptation." The number 14 of Temperance can help to keep the idealistic Sagittarians grounded. It joins the power of the conscious mind, concentrated in Key 1, or the Magician, with the principle of reason, symbolized by the Emperor, or Key 4. The number 5, the sum total of these two digits, is considered to be the number of the manifestation of God on earth. It is also the number for the initiated, or the Hierophant, who, having made contact with divine consciousness, shines his light down on the rest of mortals. Sagittarians can add the energy of the Hierophant to that of Temperance to verify the validity of rationally developed theories. This combination will also help them to find the temperament necessary to harmonize their duality and fulfill their mission as educators and prophets. One of the symbols of this card is the mountain, representative of the spiritual path. At the top of the mountain, there is a crown that represents the bullseye of the archer's target, signifying achievements on both the mundane and spiritual level. There is also the figure of an angel who guides the seeker of the light along the path that leads from the bottom to the top of the mountain. This is the same path that Sagittarians must walk, without ignoring their daily life, in order to attain personal development and a heightened level of consciousness. The angel's white tunic symbolizes purity and wisdom, and the seven-pointed star on its chest reflects the original 7 astrological planets. The angelic figure has one foot in the water and the other on land, representing the connection between water as a cosmic essence and earth as its concrete physical manifestation. The angel pours water from a gold vessel into a silver one, evoking the powers of the sun and the moon, symbols of the masculine and feminine forces of creation and adaptation. The angel is a symbol of protection, as is the planet Jupiter. The Temperance card bestows upon Sagittarians a love for life, a sense of equality, happiness, spontaneity, and purity. These qualities reflect the resurrection of the individual after the symbolic rites of passage through Scorpio's underworld. The planet Jupiter, regent of Sagittarius, doesn't have a direct connection with any of the major arcana, but it has something in common with the angel. Both of them are protective characters.
Cabala. The oldest esoteric traditions of the world that permeates Western culture is the Cabala, the Jewish mystical tradition. Cabala gives an explanation of God's nature and the human connection to the divine. That connection is expressed in 32 distinct pathways, symbolized by the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet and the 10 sephirot of the Tree of Life. Recently, this esoteric wisdom has become more and more exoteric. For the first time, the Cabala is becoming more accessible to everyone. Here we briefly present the relationship that some Kabbalistic schools establish with Western astrology. Hebrew letter. Hebrew letters have a mystical connection with the creation of the universe. The character of the Hebrew alphabet, assigned by the Cabala to Sagittarius and to Tarot's the Temperance, is Samek. This character, used as a verb, means to support, to seize, and to sustain, and as a noun, a tent and a support. Samek is also related to the sonorous vibration of the universe's energy, which makes possible the physical manifestation of the non-manifested. This cosmic sound has been translated in the sacred syllable Om or Om, the powerful mantra used in Hinduism and other mystical traditions. Samek represents the foundation for all existence. This foundation is intuited by Sagittarians. They rely upon the powers of the tarot angel in conjunction with this alphabetic character to discover, understand, and transmit the factual expressions of the underlying order of the universe that permeates all existence.
The Tree of Life. The Kabbalistic Hebrew spiritual diagram, known as the Tree of Life, conforms to 10 sephirot, representing heavenly man, behind whom is projected earthly man as a shadow. Traditionally, a connection has been established between the planet Jupiter and the Sephirah Chesed. This Sephirah, located in the Pillar of Mercy, is represented by a king seated on his throne, radiating wisdom and love to his people. This image evokes the dignity and generosity of spirit that characterizes Sagittarians. The energy of Chesed and the angel can assist Sagittarius natives to surpass the limitations of their personality and so become much wiser. Yoga chakras. The chakras are psychic centers of consciousness in Hindu yoga. They are the sense organs of the ethereal body that surround the physical body. Some esoteric traditions establish a connection between the planet Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, and the third chakra, Manipura. This chakra is located at the solar plexus. This plexus is considered the receptacle of first impressions and the point for the elimination of impurities that build up in the body over the years. The energy of this chakra can help Sagittarians to overcome stereotypical limitations of the horse so that they can become more like the Sagittarian archer. For those who believe in reincarnation, this 10-petal blue lotus chakra relates to Sagittarians' personal magnetism and their authority to exercise their mastery in this life. If they behave properly, as the archers that they are, they won't have to repeat this stage in the next one.
Alchemy. For hundreds of years, the alchemists have striven to accomplish the magnum opus, the great work. They have studied science, medicine, and astrology in order to discover the philosopher's stone. Their goal has been to find the elixir, that power that will transmute basic metals into gold. But the alchemical great work and the philosopher's stone do not only refer to metals. The great work is also a spiritual quest. That quest involves a 12-stage process through which human beings must pass to attain spiritual regeneration and enlightenment. The philosopher's stone in this process provides the clues to overcome the world of opposites. The sign of Sagittarius is linked to the 9th stage of the great work. This stage is known as incineration. It represents the moment when the alchemist opens his mind and thereby burns away old models of thought and erroneous perceptions of experience. Sagittarians take on this process after Scorpio has already taken charge of the putrefaction of accumulated erroneous concepts. Now it is up to them to incinerate the residue of this previous stage, to finish shaping the new persona, the product of the process of dying and being reborn. Sagittarians must allow themselves to be guided by their faith and the divine spark within them, so as to conclude their alchemical work.
Magic. Different practitioners of Western white magic link the planet Jupiter, the ruler planet of Sagittarius, with the crown of perfection. The weekday of Jupiter is Thursday. Its color is bluish-purple. The symbols of Jupiter's power are the scepter or staff, the lance and the rod, and the pyramid. Its tree of identity is the cedar tree. Its spice is saffron, and its incense is sandalwood. Jupiter registers with the musical notes La, or A, and Sol, or G. The sign of Sagittarius is also associated with animals such as horses and dogs, and the hunted deer. It attracts mineral energy from the amethyst, topaz, lapis lazuli, and turquoise. The Sagittarian trees are the ash tree and the birch. The flowers of Sagittarius are the narcissus, the carnation, and the dandelion. Its fruits are figs, mulberries, and bilberries. Garlic, cinnamon, and sage are its spices and herbs. White magic practitioners use the energies of the forces of these elements in rituals to promote restraint, adaptation, and balance in individuals and in situations that are out of control.
Sagittarius and Mythology. Astrological charts and mythological stories are mirrors of human nature. Both speak the same language of human beings. Astrology and mythology reflect universal and common values and patterns. It is in the skies that these values and patterns are projected. The mythical gods and goddesses, heroes and heroines act them out. Mythic characters can help us to understand more fully some of the features presented in the solar sign. Greco-Roman culture. The mythological references that best illustrate the nature of Sagittarius are Chiron, king of the centaurs, and the god Jupiter. Chiron was a centaur, the fruit of the union between the god Kronos, in the shape of a horse, and the nymph Philyra, daughter of Oceanus. Chiron was a wise man and a prophet, the mentor to both men and gods. He lived in a cave on Mount Pelion, where he taught several generations of Greek heroes. He was responsible for instructing princely arts to the children of the kings of Greece. Some of his many pupils were Achilles, Jason, Asclepius, Heracles, Castor, Pollux, and Actaeon. His duality as a beast and a wise man provided him with a very special perspective on life. Chiron had a vast knowledge of the natural world and of human behavior. One day, while Heracles was hunting in the forest, he accidentally wounded Chiron in the leg with a poisoned arrow. The centaur did not die, because the gods had granted him the gift of immortality. But neither his magic powers nor his ample knowledge of medicine could heal his wound. From then, Chiron came to symbolize the wounded healer. He understood the nature of suffering and could cure others, but could not overcome his own pain. While some astrologers think that the suffering of Chiron does not relate to the joyful Sagittarians, others believe that it embodies the pain they experience from their dual nature. Chiron evokes the contrast between their talents and their shortcomings, and their personal ideals and the limited vision of humanity in general. Sagittarians can appeal to Chiron's knowledge to reach a balance between their two opposing worlds. Accepting reality as it is will allow them to use their knowledge to gradually develop Chiron's wisdom. Then they can teach others, as the master centaur once did. Chiron, old and tired of suffering, yielded his immortality to Prometheus so he could die in peace. In recognition of his virtues, Zeus turned him into the constellation that gives its name to the sign of Sagittarius. This transfer of immortality epitomizes the direct and indirect delivery of knowledge passed on by Sagittarians. Directly, they act as teachers or masters. Indirectly, they transmit their knowledge through example. The god Jupiter was the Roman equivalent of the Greek god Zeus, and therefore the most important god in the Roman pantheon. He reigned over the heavens, light, lightning, and thunder. He was the empire's great protector. He blessed its rulers and maintained a vigil of justice over its vast territories, spread throughout its many conquered lands. He bid farewell to the warriors before they left for battle and received them on their return. He had the power to reward or to punish them. Jupiter represents order, authority, and wisdom. He bestows a great sense of justice and self-confidence upon Sagittarians. The energy of Jupiter serves as fuel for them in the activation of their faith and the expansion of their own consciousness. Taking advantage of Chiron's and Jupiter's strength and skills, whether to a greater or lesser degree, depends on how closely the person is identified with the Sagittarius archer or the Sagittarius horse. Afro-Latin American culture. From the colonial slave trading days to the present, very old African religious beliefs have influenced Latino American culture. Practitioners of the Yoruba rites in different countries link the planet Jupiter to one of the greatest orishas, known as Obatala. He is identified with the Greek god Zeus. In the syncretism of this tradition with the Christian religion, it is also identified with Nuestra Señora de la Merced, Our Lady of Mercy. Obatala is the father of all the orishas, and therefore the king of kings. He is the divine symbol of purity, and his color is white. Obatala is invoked to unleash curses and to protect people from evil energies. Legend has it that the creator, Olorun Olofi, yielded the power to conceive humanity to Obatala. But Obatala loved wine, and sometimes his creations were not perfect. As a result, handicapped people are known as Obatala's children. Half of Obatala's creations are masculine, and the other half are feminine. In parts of Africa, Obatala and his wife Oduduwa symbolize the sun and the earth. They are represented as two conjoined white heads. Oduduwa can be thought of as Obatala's feminine side. The connection with this half-male, half-female Orisha, creator of both perfection and imperfection, reflects the conscious mind and the innate intuition behind Sagittarian wisdom. It invites Sagittarians to reconcile themselves with their animal side. This reconciliation of that duality which exists in all things is indispensable for the evolution of the soul and its return to the oneness. Using the Sagittarius potential. People born under the sign of Sagittarius, or with a very strong presence of this energy in their natal chart, are natural seekers and expanders. They are self-motivated, inspired, open-minded, and optimistic. When Sagittarians achieve the integration of the horse and the archer, they become amazing individuals. They will use their talents and their easygoing nature to move with equal facility in the physical as well as in the abstract plane. Sagittarians have the capacity to hit their spiritual target with their educated mind's arrow, to connect the divine and the human. All their qualities imply a great responsibility. They must seek for that explanation of human experience that best allows them to expand their perception of the inner and the outer world. Then they must find a way to transfer their open-mindedness to others and to teach what they have learned about the sense of life. Doing so, they will contribute to the expansion of acceptance, respect, and justice in the world. By reducing ignorance, they will also reduce discrimination based upon blind opinions and judgments that people so often rely upon. However, we must be conscious that each one of us is influenced by the 12 solar signs and all the planets in our birth chart. Studying their position and relations will help us to accomplish the ancient precept, know thyself. Understanding oneself is to understand other humans as well.